afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You join me on a really beautiful August afternoon down at Stinky Ditch Nursery, and as you can see I've started clearing stuff up a little bit, but not as much and as quickly as I'd like to, but there we are. Nature is loving it, and I just do a little vid to show you how I'm doing at the moment. Now have a look at these beautiful majestic willows. They are stunning. Now trees are everywhere. You don't really see them until someone chops one down and you suddenly notice that it's gone. We look at them all the time, but we don't really see them. Now to really see a tree, all you have to do is look at it. And if you've got a tree, the nearest tree to you, the tree that you drive past on your way to work, or the tree you walk past every day when you're walking the dog, just look at it for a few seconds, if it's safe to do so driving, every day, and eventually you will see it. And once you start seeing the different shades of green and the way the leaves move in the wind and the shadowing on the branches, once you see that and it starts looking like a painting, then you can see it. And it doesn't look like a painting looks like it, but you've finally seen it. And then you will start seeing your tree everywhere. You'll think, oh, that's my tree. You don't even need to know what it's called, but your brain will register it just by looking at it. And how are we going to save all this stuff if we don't even see it, people? We can look, but we may not see. Anyway, a little bit of a tour of just a few of the trees. Here we have our oak, and our oak is doing some acorns. Oh, we've got some acorns coming this year. Absolutely beautiful. Look at this. Have I got that? There we are. We've got loads of acorns this year, not many last year. And look at this. This acorn here, I'll do a video about this. This acorn here has had a little bug go in it, and it's growing in there. Look at that. And the shape of that little deformity depends upon the bug that is growing in the acorn. I'll do a video about oak trees because they're quite fascinating. And there we've got the greenhouse. It's got a few cyclamen at the moment, but they haven't woken up yet. I think I need to give them a bit of a water. Oh, down here, another thing we don't look at, we don't see. Clover. Clover are so important. They're really beautiful things to have in your lawn. Let a few go to flower. Now right next to it, look, this is a black medic, and it's part of the same family. You can tell from the leaves. Do you know what? I'm more into this than I am growing stuff. I know more about this than I do about plants that I grow. Anyway, there we go. I can't really see if that's in focus or not. I haven't got my glasses on. But again, that's the same sort of flower. I'll do a little bit of a video about plant identification, I think. Anyway, what else have we got going on? The brambles are doing really well, and the nettles are doing really well, and the butterflies are everywhere, absolutely everywhere. I've got butterflies, dragonflies, every sort of thing that can possibly fly is buzzing around in the air. It's beautiful. The sun is out, and well, it's a joyous day. Oh, look at this. Now this is another weed called Oxford ragwort, and it's not a good thing to have. I'm not going to let that go to seed because it's very, very poisonous, and it can kill sheep and cows and horses, and you know, it's very poisonous and probably very yummy as well, so they do eat it. And so before that goes to seed, I'm going to be pulling all that up. But the insects seem to love it like they do the lavender. This is covered in bees, and I've got so many different varieties of bees, as I have with the butterflies. The butterflies on the buddleia. I'm trying to keep the sun out of this, but there we go. I don't know if that's a bit too glary, but the whole sky here is filled with little bugs and butterflies. And it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Oh, I've got some, I'll show you this. Our nipplewort, here we are, here's some nipplewort. See that seed pod there? Now they've just come to seed now, and if I tap it on top, oh, I don't know if you're picking this up on the camera, all the seeds just fly everywhere, absolutely burst everywhere. They catapult out, and well, that's how it spreads its seeds. And here we have a tree. Look at that. Now that has grown since I've been here, so that's about 8 years old. He's pretty tall now, and I'm going to do a little video about how to identify this tree. Let's do it now. So what's the first thing we look for? Well, let's have a look at the leaves, because we've got leaves at this time of year, and they are, let me try and get this in there, let me try and get a better picture. There we go. Here we are, and you can see they're sort of heart-shaped, big heart-shaped leaves, and you can see the size of my hands. Now let's see if it's got any fruit or flowers, and it is in fruit, and there's a fruit there. And here we are, and it looks like I'm hoping you're getting this well on the camera. It looks like a little sort of pine cone, but it's got deciduous trees leaves, you know, it's got these big flat leaves. So I know straight away that this is an alder. And also you can tell an alder because they're the only sort of normal leaf. Alder are quite a big family. They've got about 20 different species and the leaves are quite different, but they all have these fruits. And in the winter, the whole tree are covered in really dark brown catkins that are the male flowers. And then these are the female flowers that have been pollinated, and so they turn into the fruit that will eventually turn into the seed. And if you look on the floor, you can quite often find an alder seed pod. Ah, there's one. There we go. These. If you find these on the floor around a tree, the chances are there's going to be an alder nearby. Very easy, very distinctive. Also, another thing when you're identifying trees, you've got to look at whether the leaves come out opposite to each other or alternate. Yeah, so you've got alternate and opposite. That's an identifying thing that is quite like, this is alternate. See, bump, bump. Let's get another branch here. You can see that we've got one coming out there, one coming out there, you know. They're not opposite each other. Whereas the nettle, let's have a quick look at a nettle. The nettle, you can see here, the leaves come out opposite each other. Yeah. So this is a good identification sort of trick, if you like. Also, the leaves themselves, they're big, they're glossy, and on the underside of the leaf, incidentally, alder are an incredible tree. They grow these nodules on their roots under the ground here, and these will fix nitrogen into the soil. So quite often these are used to reinvigorate land that's sort of got a bit dry, not dry, a bit, you know, sparse of nitrogen. So there's our leaf. It's a nice green glossy leaf. It's got quite a long stem on it as well. That's another important thing to look at. And that makes these leaves flap around quite a lot in the wind. So just looking at trees in the wind and seeing how they move, seeing their flavour is a good thing. And this is what nails it, that I know this is an Italian alder, because on the bottom of the leaf, I don't know if you can see this, just where the veins are, you get these little red hairs. If you get this on the leaf, and the leaf looks like this, the chances are that's going to, in fact, if it's got the fruits or it's got the seed pods, can you see that? I don't know if I'm getting that in focus, but you get these little things coming up. And so with a few little on the bark as well, of course, the bark is so important. When the tree has no leaves, you have to look at the bark, and it does this sort of running around thing like this, like a cherry tree. And then as it gets older, these turn into vertical splits. But I'll do another video of an older one. I'll do a video of one in the winter as well, when they're in full flower. And yeah, try and get something together so you can really identify trees. But I promise you, it's a very worthwhile thing. My grandfather was a timber fella, or American lumberjack, and he knew all the trees, and he used to give directions by trees. You turn left at the oak, you know, things like that. And I was always very impressed with this. So I learned all the trees a few years ago. And all the trees in my area, there's only about 50 of them, and so you can learn it in a year quite easily. And it's a very fulfilling thing to do. See nature. Don't just look at it, see it. And the world will turn into a much brighter, beautiful place. Anyway, this has been Robbie Phoenix down at Stinky Ditch Nursery, just showing you how to identify a tree and just a little span of what's going on. Thanks for watching.